Alright guys, back again. I'm working on watermelon, getting my Proline build up and going again. I did have a pretty bad crash right here last time I took it out, but the car overall did really well. So I wanted to hook it to this style remote, which it wasn't hooked to last time. So for this switch right here, because this is my drag race switch, so I want to show you guys how it works. I do have onboard audio on this thing to let me know what's going on and how we're doing. But here we go. It's fired up. I have the volume down. So what I do is I hold the throttle up on my launch and then launch. So we'll do it again. Hold my throttle up. Full throttle or whatever you want to do. 1, 2, 3, go. So that's why I wanted this button hooked up. Let that thing turn off. But that's why I wanted this button hooked up, so that I have a neutral. Now these remotes come with, this one came with my Orange Summit, but these remotes you can hook up to 30 Traxxas vehicles, whether it's a TQI with the red button or a regular TQI that doesn't have this top switch or this red button. I'm actually hooking this one remote up to all my Traxxas vehicles that I don't already have on my Rugged or my regular DX5C, my basher vehicles. Now my speed ones will always be on my Futaba, but the drag race ones, things that my basher ones, all the stuff by Traxxas, like the Fortec and that kind of stuff that I don't need to go crazy out of range with. I just use the TQI with all these channels built in. So as you see, I do have a gyro. Set up on this one. You can see the gyro working, and this is the Traxxas gyro that's in the VXL. So, and once you hit the throttle, if you don't hit the throttle, it doesn't matter because the steering won't do anything. But as soon as you hit the throttle, the steering will want to stay straight. So you always let it center and then do your drag launch. So that's just a little quick tip I wanted to share with you guys about watermelon here and how I built this. Now I did do a full build of this, and that was buying the car new as a VXL, as a high center gravity, and doing this whole setup, building this Proline car, which is on my channel. If you just type in Traxxas drag / octane, which is octane right here, you'll see some videos on it showing the parts, what I used, and how I built this thing. Alright guys, another quick thing I wanted to show you. as you see, when the body's sitting down, the wheel turning radius is perfect, and that's the way I trimmed my body, really tight, really low to the ground. It's just something I like to do with the drag setup. I have my front suspension really stiff, and the rear is really, really soft. And I do this for a couple reasons. When I launch and I get back up on that wheelie bar, watch this. Watch how slow those wheels drop. That's fully down now. Now watch this. Look how high that body is. Look how slow the body goes back down. Let's try that again. So up. Dropping really slow. And I do this because I want the wheel weight and the suspension weight up front to try to keep that front end down. It's something we do on real drag cars. You want a lot of force kicking it up to get the weight transferred to these rear slicks, but you don't want the wheels overextending. So, and when you come back down, you don't want to slap and hit the bottom of the chassis. So on an RC car, it's just more pronounced. So what I do is that will be my ride height right there. And then on the rear, when I pick it up and I do my burnout, it's going to be like that, and I just set it down. See that droop? Really different from the front. Now I want it to set and then have room to squat. If I push it down on the line, it leaves me no room. That's basically my running room. So I'll do the burnout with very light pressure on the tires, because you don't want to tear up your tires. You don't want to push down on them and eat the rubber. You definitely don't want to do a high-speed burnout with your tires. They'll just balloon and they'll heat up the centers only. So you want to kind of keep the throttle down. Once you're done with your burnout, you just relax the car, and then that's the way you want it to launch. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop this body off. I did add side clips to this, as you see, to support the body because of how wide this is. I am using standard Traxxas arms on this. I do have a shock starting to leak. I did notice that when I built this, I didn't tighten the shocks up right. So I noticed that today. So I went ahead and filled them all up and snugged them down. So I definitely got to get them cleaned off. But I left a lot of stuff loose when I changed the fluid in these shocks, because these shocks that I'm using are the Proline shocks. This is Proline's build. You can go on their site, and they actually have a YouTube video of their build. They did not. Let's see. I'll pop this. I do have onboard audio. That's what these bolts are up here. And as you see, I do tape some of the body. I tape there because that's where the wheels hit when they balloon really good. I've got aluminum in the back, kind of like a tin front and back to support that body. So, and then I split up the onboard audio speakers and mounted them myself with gaskets going to the body. So it's got a nice little rattle, because that's what makes the sound. So let's take a look at these shocks. These are the Proline shocks. And I really, really love Proline's shocks on the Slash. So as you see, my rear, how I have the spring tension set up, and then the front, I have none. So pushing this down, this thing is really, really hard. Look at that slow droop to that shock. Now watch this. When it lands, look how slow that shock is settling. And it really is stiff. This takes a lot of force to push these shocks down. It's something I do, and it works really, really good. Here's the onboard audio I set up on this car. This was from my 4x4 Slash. This was a high center of gravity. I bought the low center of gravity chassis, but it was a VXL. I am running the 2075 Traxxas servo. All the stock, all the links, everything on this is stock. Transmission stock. The electronics are stock. The radio stock. Everything on this is stock. I ran the STRC rear wheelie bar with the bearings. It's a really good wheelie bar for the money. Stock VXL transmission, VXL drive shafts. So everything is stock except for the wheelie bar, the wheels and tires, and the shocks. And then I put an RPM bumper on it and deleted the rear bumper to run this. And then I did add the Proline body mounting system. Other than that, never moved the electronics, never moved the wiring, never moved anything. Just put a low center of gravity chassis on it and called it a day. Now you can buy them low center of gravity. I couldn't find one, and that's why I did it this way. And it's a very clean, simple setup. After I was all done with my wire management and cleaning everything up, I had this sitting with some extra parts and thought it would be pretty cool to throw on an onboard audio system onto my drag car so I can hear where my trigger is at, which I showed you guys earlier. Because you know, if your car will hold it and the ground will hold it full throttle, flick the switch and you should be good. I find that about half throttle is where I launch, and then I roll into this. And when you start to roll into this, you'll see this front end start to come up, and if you got enough weight up here, especially with it trying to carry these wheels, it'll carry it. My wheels will slowly come down to give me steering, and you know, the front end will be up, and you can see how high I can get this and still have steering. And then when you let off and you start braking, you don't want the front end, especially as low as I have this, to hit the ground and start scraping. So the stiffness of this is really, you can see. And then the back is just really, really plush. Very easy. It recovers really fast. So real plush in the rear, real stiff up front. You can see it's just it works. It's a good platform. You guys, I'll show you guys some more running videos of this. My plan is to take this out tomorrow and run it with the new Ready to Run and see how a Traxxas Proline setup on a Slash, a custom, compares to the Ready to Run. And eventually that one is going to be just as fast, if not faster than this, is what I'm hoping. But I feel we're going to have to at least do some transmission modifications to that one. I'm going to try leaving the wheelie bar on it and put some better wheels on the back of it. I'm going to try running those tires. I want to keep that as stock as possible, but after seeing RC Guy Garage and him tearing down the transmission, I don't think the transmission will hold. So I'm hearing there's some upgraded parts for it. So we're going to go ahead and get some upgraded parts and get that transmission built up, get some more power into that. But just wanted to share this with you guys. Appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you on my next video.